Hello and welcome to Searching for Opportunities During Challenging Times. This is Dan Paulson. I am CEO of Envision Development International, and I work with business owners to help them get out of their own way. And right now, I'm working with a number of business owners to deal with adversity that we are dealing with during this pandemic. So, as part of this, I have put together this workshop for you to hopefully look at what you're doing and see how you might be able to find new opportunities in your business. This is the part three of a multi-part series. So session one was assess and protect. That is already available on YouTube. Same with session two. So functioning in a virtual environment, since many of us are socially isolated and separated from everyone else, we need to learn how to work together remotely. This will give you the tools to do that. In this session, we're going to talk more about finding the opportunities. Where are there places for you to go and for you to grow? Next session will be stay visible, and then finally session 5 will be keeping morale up. So let's get into it today. First of all, our greatest opportunities are the ones that are exposed by adversity. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So right now is probably the greatest opportunity to grow. As you well know, there is plenty of adversity, so we tend to be more willing to take risks as society and try new things. Or we may be forced to try new things because what we were doing in the past is no longer working and appears to no longer work going forward. I think a lot of that's going to be true with where our environment is right now. I think we're going to see a lot of changes as we come out of this, and a lot of that's going to be the impact as we're going into it. So keep this in mind throughout this session and all the others. It's really about what can you change to make your company better and keep your people employed and keep growing. What we're going to talk about today are where are the needs? So that's the first question we're going to ask. Next, we're going to look at how you might repurpose your products or services to fit either a new audience or appeal to your current audience in a different way. After that, we will talk about what industries might be doing well, and again, take this in context of when you view this. So right now during the pandemic, there are still companies that are doing quite well, and you can find those and see if there are services or products you can provide to them that will be helpful during this time. Also, I will share with you examples of other companies that are innovating and finding those opportunities right now. This is obviously going to change, but as you look through it, hopefully you get some ideas on what you can do in your own business to maybe adjust or modify to what's happening in the world around you today and any other time that adversity rears its ugly head and makes us question what we're doing. But first of all, I will repeat this as I do in every session. Let's practice good safety. So first thing is follow expert advice. Go to the CDC or WHO for guidelines of what you need to do. These are changing on a day-to-day basis. Please keep up to date on the most relevant information. I recommend strongly that you use verified resources to get your data and get your information. Do not rely on social media or anything else that might be more opinionated or more redirected to a viewpoint either you align to or somebody else might. Right now, we have a lot of misinformation going on out there. So again, go back to your sources to figure that out. Practice social distancing. Obviously, stay away from other people at this time until times improve. We need to separate in order to stay healthy. Wash your hands. Viruses don't do really well with clean hands. So if you wash your hands, avoid touching your face, you will probably be fine. You'll probably get out of this without a scratch. Practice a lot of self-care. Beyond working all the time, beyond panicking, do things that will help you out. Work out, get exercise, watch a movie, take a mental break. These are all normal things that we should be doing, which then leads to the next step, which is try and keep your life as normal as possible. Still get up in the morning, still do the things you would do if you were going to work. Just change it so that you are working from home right now. But follow through on those steps because that will keep you engaged and keep you motivated to move forward. If you just lounge around on the couch and watch Netflix all day, it's probably not going to be too helpful. If you feel ill, stay away from others. Get help if it gets serious enough. It is very concerning. It is very concerning to us that people stay healthy, and ultimately, if you are feeling any ill effects, that you get help when you need it. So watch your symptoms. If they do start to get severe, call your local officials, call the hospital, find out what you need to do to get checked in. Do not just show up, because that could lead to the infection of others. So be very careful of that. And finally, have fun. Just because we're going through all this doesn't mean we can't have fun, doesn't mean we can't enjoy ourselves, doesn't mean we can't stay connected to our employees, our staff, our customers. Reach out, because we're all going through this together, and the more we interact, the better off it'll be. It's always good to have a little bit of laughter along the way. So first of all, check in with your customers. If you haven't done so yet, you've probably heard me mention this in the other sessions if you've listened to those, but you really need to check in. Check on their welfare, see how they're doing, see how you can help them. What are additional resources that you can provide? Is there something that you have in your toolbox that can be useful to help them through whatever challenges they're facing? There might be a tremendous opportunity there just to step up with your current clientele without having to find new customers. So make sure that they're taking the most advantage of your skill set and your talents and your expertise, and whatever products or services you provide. From there, do they know of somebody else that could use your help? Again, we've all got to stick together through this. I would strongly encourage you to reach out to everyone you know and find out, can you help other people? Do they know people who are going through a difficult time right now, which most companies are? And are there resources or ways that you can help them out? Some ways might be free. Some ways might be different types of services. We'll get into that later. But ultimately, what can you do to help out right now? That's going to be the most important thing. And how do you make yourself more valuable to them, and them being your customer or even your prospects? Provide more value. That's really what's going to matter right now. There's a lot of people that are talking about discounting their prices or giving things away for free. And in some cases that makes sense, and you should probably take a look at that. However, I'm not a big believer in discounting. I would rather restructure a product or service that I have to match what other people need and provide a greater value for it. So if it is making something less expensive, find out how to do it in a way that will still keep up the quality, keep up the service, but allow you to streamline maybe how you do things, or only focus on the most important things that are needed right now. Discounting, again, in my mind, just sets a bad precedent. And ultimately, if everyone's discounting their products or services, are they really still making enough, generating enough revenue to get by? So this is something you have to weigh personally. There are times where I think it's just morally right to give away and help out where you can. But the bottom line is, if you give everything away, what are you doing to really help your business out now? So just keep that in mind as we go through this. Where are the needs right now? So here's a few things that I highlighted just from my research and talking with my clients, and looking into what things are doing well at this time. Well, technology obviously is probably one of the bigger ones out there that is just booming right now. As we are all working remotely, working from home, things are now being accessed over the internet. We are now using different types of communication tools. So if you heard me on the last session talk about working remotely, remote platforms like Zoom, like Skype, Microsoft Teams, these are all things that people are using to stay connected, collaborate, meet, share information when they can't be together in person. So think of different ways that maybe you can appeal to the technology industry right now. Are there products or services that they're going to need? Food is obviously a big one. We've had several situations where food is not necessarily scarce, but just due to the volume that people are buying, we've had some hoarding going on. So grocery stores, food production, food manufacturing, food packaging, these are all companies right now that are booming. And for now, they might continue booming for a while. I would expect that at some point, as things shift and as that part slows down, other things are going to pick up. So keep an eye on these different industries and watch for what they're doing. Watch for who's succeeding right now, or who's growing right now, or at least sustaining right now, and figure out how you can work in that industry, help them out. Training, coaching, and education. Again, there's a lot of people sitting at home, and you've got to look at the opportunities that are out there. So I was talking with a client earlier today who works with people, getting people into their MBAs, and we were talking about different ways to market, because right now, again, with a lot of people sitting at home maybe questioning whether or not they want to go back in their current field of work, maybe they want to get that MBA, or maybe they want to get that next degree. So how do we market to that audience a little bit differently and open up more opportunities to them? Also, medical and safety, if that hasn't been obvious enough, that uh, medical hospitals, safety equipment, anything like that is going to be very critical over the next several weeks, months, and possibly years. So what in those industries can you do to help provide? And there it can be for a good cause or a good purpose, because anything that you do that from a technology, talent, innovation side that can come in and really help reduce the stress that this is creating on our economy, on the world, on our humanity, can be very beneficial. So think about how you can do that. Entertainment's obviously going to be a big one, but it's not entertainment in the same way that we're used to. We're not going to be going to see concerts. We're not going to be seeing movies for a while. So what sort of entertainment, if you are in that industry, can you provide to the home user? Because ultimately, we're going to need something to do when you're locked up in your house for 24 hours a day. You need to provide something that's going to break up the monotony. So look for ways to do that. Also, I'd like to hear from you. So if you could comment either in the YouTube channel or on my LinkedIn page, what are other industries that you're seeing that are growing or thriving right now, or have greater needs? Let us know about that, because there's enough room for everybody. We just got to find where those opportunities are at. Now, repurpose your products and services. What products and services do you offer? First of all, write them all down. From there, how can those products or services be used in other industries or other markets? What do you have that really is transferable? Maybe there's no modification to it at all. Maybe you have to do some slight modification to it. Is this also an opportunity for you maybe to expand into a completely new product or service? So innovating outside of what you normally do, is this something you can do to help right now? Because if we're all going to be faced with this challenge in business, maybe it's a good time to try that new thing. Again, we tend to take more risks now when we're in adversity than we do when times are good. When things are going well, we tend to do the same things over and over again, because that's how we make money. So in a way, this opportunity right now that we're facing is a great chance for us to grow in a different direction. How do your skills transfer? That's another thing we've got to think about. So as you look at yourself, as you look at your team, what sort of talents or skills do you have that can be applied in a different way? Are there things you are doing that can be used towards innovation, towards growth, creating a new product or service altogether to, again, service a different industry, or maybe expand services in your current industry? Going back to something I said in the first session, which was take inventory of your business. Find out what are all the things you have, all the tools you have. Back to the analogy that I used before about Apollo 13 and how they had limited resources or limited equipment that they had to manufacture to get a square air filter working in a round hole. And it's the same here. We have limited resources now. We need to manage them to the best of our ability. Next, what companies are adapting? So here's some examples of companies out there that I've found in the news that are doing things differently. There's a number of distilleries. I can't remember which the first one was, but once there was a realization that there was a shortage of hand sanitizer, distilleries started making hand sanitizer. And one distillery did it, and now I see there's probably 4 or 5 different distilleries across the United States that are manufacturing hand sanitizer. At this time, they are giving it away because they realize there's a problem there, and they understand that if everyone is sick and can't go out and do their normal stuff, from their side, they're looking at that, well, we're not going to be able to sell our spirits if we don't have healthy people. So here's an example of where somebody has made a shift in what they do to open up a new market and also create awareness, create exposure for themselves. So even though they're giving that sanitizer away for free, What they're doing is they're helping and they're creating a memory within people's minds so that when it comes to the time to purchase products, hopefully they'll go back to them. Artists are performing virtual concerts. I think there's 2 or 3 concerts now going on online every day from major recording artists that are essentially doing these concerts from their home or from a very small studio with a small film crew. So they're doing their best to practice social distancing, but they're also providing that entertainment. Like I said earlier, entertainment's going to be a big need. Another thing I've seen is a lot of people posting images of for coloring. So if you've seen any of those adult coloring books where you can, do real detailed pictures, this is an example of what some companies or people are doing, but they're trying to provide some entertainment or something to break up the monotony of staying at home. Look for opportunities there. Online teaching and training, like I said, teaching, coaching, training, these are all going to be big things because as people don't want to binge watch a television show, they want to get some other form of information in their head and they don't want to hear more about the COVID-19. Look for ways to teach a skill set, share your knowledge, expand that, because that will provide opportunities now and into the future. Another interesting thing I saw was there were a number of 3D printer, I think these were mostly private people, but people who know how to work the 3D printers and actually design and create products out of them, they were using their 3D printers to create parts for the ventilators that are keeping people alive or getting people healthy again. As you might know, there was a shortage of ventilators actually in Italy, which has led to a number of problems there due to their aging population and how many people were getting sick off of COVID, that they were running out of these parts. And the quickest and easiest way to remanufacture them was the 3D printers. So people stepped up, they innovated ways to produce the parts that were needed to help keep people healthy. And that is something we all need to look at. Think outside the box, look differently at what you're doing and what others are doing, and try and find where those niches or those possibilities exist. Lastly, delivery services. Everyone's at home right now. There's still an opportunity to help out restaurants. They're going to be struggling because um, they don't have people coming into their restaurants. Now they have to do things through delivery. So you can help 2 different resources there. You can help the end consumer that's looking for maybe something different. Maybe they're finally tired of cooking and they need to get something else in their system. Well, delivery services for restaurants, delivery services for grocery stores. These are all areas where we've seen expansion recently. So they've been out there before. Many of these companies are helping waive certain fees to help out these small business owners as we go along. And that's the thing we got to look at. So there's small business owners, there's medium business owners, there's large business owners. Who are you targeting in all this? Which ones are you providing services maybe at a discount or for free? Which ones do you still need to charge so that you can generate revenue along the way? We're all trying to work through this together. We all need to do our best to keep as many people employed as possible, even during this time when most people have to stay at home. It's not always going to be possible. Again, go back to my last session where I did talk about, how you work remotely and what things you need to do. But if you are able to work from home and you are able to still produce whatever it is that you do, find ways to get that into the right people's hands. Now, in review, first, start with your customers. Best place to go are the people who already know you and are familiar with how you do things and are more than willing often to help refer you to others. They're the ones that can really help you out. Next, discover the needs. Whatever you're offering at this time, maybe is a continued need. Maybe there are other things you need to find within your skill set or within your talents that you can market to a completely different audience or a completely different industry. Think about what it is that you have that can be repurposed. So look at products or services that might be able to be utilized for something different. Is there something there that can open up, again, a brand new market, a brand new opportunity? And finally, do your research in new industries. Create, innovate, find different ways to get in front of people, find different ways to stay visible. That is going to be important as we go forward. So that's it for this session. This one's probably a little bit shorter than the other ones. I would like a little more interaction on this one. So if you have ideas, if you have questions, please let me know. I would love to talk about them online, and I love to share them. Reach out to me at plan-coach-develop.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. You can also, if you need help, book with me. I have a 30-minute pay what you want session, which means if I provide no value, you are welcome to just take the information and run with it. If there is something there, it's your choice on whatever you want to pay me. Right now, that's my goal, or what I'm trying to do to help small businesses out during this time. If you have any questions, as always, reach out. And this is Dan from Envision Development International. Everyone stay safe and be well.